Aldi is implementing restrictions on how much fresh meat shoppers can buy to attempt and ensure everyone obtains what they require. There will be a complete of 2-item per customer restriction on beef, pork, and poultry products. Aldi's meat department appears like an excellent arrangement, reasonable packs, affordable costs, and numerous selections. But there's additional to it than appears obvious. Before you retrieve that meat, there are several things you ought to understand. Let's discuss Simply Nature ground beef. That substantial plastic-covered bundle resting in Aldi's meat department. You recognize the one, that sizable 1 to 2 pound portion of beef that appears like such a solid arrangement. First off, that cost label is quite attractive, usually under $3.50 per pound, which surpasses most standard supermarkets where you spend $5 or additional these days. The quality is reliable for everyday preparation. Whether you create tacos, burgers, or meatloaf, this material operates effectively for most recipes. The fat proportion achieves a pleasant equilibrium, sufficient fat to maintain things moist and tasty, but not so much that your skillet fills with oil. It's the meat version of that dependable companion who constantly arrives on schedule, but never receives invited to the trendy gatherings. But here's what Aldi doesn't announce: that ground beef could be a globe wanderer with more stamps than a travel document. The sticker doesn't have to inform you if it holds meat from numerous nations. Due to labeling regulations changing back in 2015, beef can originate from a combination of locations like Australia, Canada, Mexico, or the United States, and the bundle only requires to state where it was bundled, not where the cattle were grown. Another thing to examine is what the cattle consumed. This isn't grass-nourished beef, which has a superior fat composition with more omega-3 fatty acids. Studies demonstrate that grass-nourished beef generally holds up to 5 times more omega-3s than grain-nourished beef. The Simply Nature beef originates from standard farming functions, where cattle primarily consume grain-derived feed constructed to fatten them up rapidly. Then there's the dimension difficulty. That family dimension bundle is excellent if you're preparing for 6 hungry teenagers, but for 2 individuals, it's like purchasing a swimming pool when all you required was a bath. You require to separate and freeze it immediately, unless you intend on preparing all that beef within 1 or 2 days. The bulk wrapping signifies you should arrange ahead when purchasing this beef. Make certain to preserve it cold on the journey home, and have freezer containers ready for the portions you won't utilize right away. And once you've dominated the skill of bulk beef purchasing, you might desire to investigate other meat choices in the giant refrigerated department. Moving on to the poultry department, you'll discover Simply Nature, organic chicken drumsticks resting there with that green organic sticker. These chicken portions appear quite attractive in their organized wrapping, guaranteeing healthier meat for your dinner surface. The positive information: these drumsticks are genuinely USDA organic approved, which signifies no antibiotics or growth hormones were utilized. That matters, because standard chicken farms frequently utilize antibiotics to avoid disease in crowded circumstances. A document from the Food and Drug Administration demonstrated that nearly 60% of all antibiotics marketed in America go to farm animals, not humans. By selecting organic chicken, you prevent contributing to that difficulty. The cost is usually a pleasant surprise too. Organic chicken at premium health food establishments can cost an arm and a leg, which is humorous since we're discussing legs here, but Aldi's variation generally costs 25 to 35% less than what you'd spend at Whole Foods or comparable establishments. The taste holds up effectively, whether you're grilling, baking, or throwing them in a slow cooker for stew. But here's what that organic sticker doesn't inform you. Organic doesn't signify small neighborhood farms with chickens operating freely in green meadows. Most Simply Nature. Organic chicken originates from large industrial functions that satisfy the minimum criteria for the organic sticker. These are still big factory farms, just ones that follow organic regulations about feed and treatments. Another irritating thing is the absence of farm details. The wrapping informs you nothing about which farm or even which territory the chicken originates from. For all you understand, those drumsticks might have journeyed hundreds or thousands of miles to arrive your establishment. Many food specialists suggest knowing your meat's beginning, but Aldi maintains that details concealed. Stock difficulties can be frustrating too. One week the organic drumsticks are there, the following week they're absent. It's like attempting to date someone who only responds your calls every other week. This occurs because Aldi establishments have restricted cold storage room and rotate products based on availability and sales designs. If you're seeking more reliable meat choices, maybe examine out the other prepared meats Aldi provides. Their refrigerated department has plenty more surprises worth investigating. A few months ago, I had no idea what a health ring even was until my fiancé got me one, and I have to say, I am shocked this isn't a widely known and used product. It tracks my stress levels, and what I found out is that each time I took certain medication, my body's stress levels went up 2 to 3 times my usual levels, so I immediately stopped taking that medication, and I can honestly say this made me feel 10 years younger. My wife mainly uses it to track her menstrual cycles, and she is obsessed with her sleep quality score. I noticed they were running a limited 69% discount, but the offer is expiring soon. It's currently only $60, and it's clear this one is the best bang for your buck with other health rings priced around $350 with less functions. They managed to price it this low because they cut out the middleman like Amazon, Walmart, etc., who drive up the price and take a big margin, ending up with the customer paying 3 to 5 times more. If you are on TV, you can check it out yourself by pausing the video and scanning the QR code with your phone camera or clicking the first link in the description of this video. Have you observed that sizable never any spiral sliced ham in the refrigerated department? It's difficult to overlook that substantial pink mountain of pre-sliced meat that appears to be calling out to holiday dinner hosts everywhere. Let's begin with what makes this ham worth purchasing. For beginners, it's completely prepared and ready to serve. Just warm it up, and dinner is essentially completed. This makes holiday meals much simpler when you've got 20 other dishes to concern about. The spiral slicing is another enormous advantage. No more standing at the surface with a carving blade while everyone observes you struggle to obtain even slices. The individual who created spiral slicing merits a Nobel Prize in the classification of saving family disputes at Thanksgiving. Price-wise, Aldi provides again, the Never Any ham generally costs between $2.50 and $3.50 per pound, which surpasses most name brand spiral hams at standard supermarkets by about 25%. You're obtaining a lot of meat for your funds, which is excellent for feeding large groups or enjoying leftovers. Now, for what they don't inform you on the bundle, that glaze packet that arrives with the ham, it's filled with sugar, around 30 grams per serving. The ingredients inventory reads like a chemistry experiment with corn syrup, modified food starch, and a bunch of preservatives most individuals can't articulate. If you're monitoring your sugar consumption or attempting to prevent processed foods, this glaze is not your companion. Dimension is another difficulty. These hams weigh between 7 and 9 pounds. Unless you're feeding a football squad, you'll be consuming ham for days. Hope you appreciate ham sandwiches, ham omelets, ham soup, ham casserole, and eventually the unavoidable ham exhaustion that sets in around day 4. The sodium content might be the greatest health worry. A single serving can hold more than 1,200 milligrams of sodium. That's over half the suggested daily amount in just one slice of meat. For individuals monitoring their blood pressure or heart wellness, this is crucial details that doesn't jump out from the sticker. Seeking something with less sugar and salt, the meat section has plenty of other choices. Bacon enthusiasts unite. Never Any Bacon arrives in those thick 2-pack stacks covered in simple wrapping. Each pack holds about a pound of sliced pork, ready to sizzle in your pan and fill your kitchen with that unmistakable bacon scent that somehow succeeds to wake up even the deepest sleepers in the residence. The positive material first, worth is where Aldi bacon genuinely shines. At usually less than $4.50 per pound, you're obtaining premium quality bacon for about 40% what you'd spend for big name brands at standard establishments. And unlike those skinny strips from some other brands, Never Any Bacon slices have a solid thickness that doesn't reduce to nothing when prepared. They fry up with a pleasant balance between crispy and chewy with that rich, smoky taste bacon fans desire. The bulk wrapping is also excellent for families or dedicated bacon lovers. With 2 packs bundled together, you can maintain one in the refrigerator and freeze the other for later. Bacon freezes effectively for up to 3 months without sacrificing quality, making this a smart purchase for anyone who likes to stock up. But here's what might make you reconsider at the meat counter. Despite its quality, never Any bacon doesn't provide any nitrate-free choices under their store brand. Nitrates are preservatives utilized in most bacon that some health specialists worry about, particularly when consumed regularly. Your breakfast might be delicious, but your arteries might be transmitting you angry text messages later. The sodium content merits attention too. Each serving, just 2 slices, contains around 380 milligrams of sodium, which accumulates quickly if you're attempting to maintain your salt consumption down. And let's be truthful, who stops at just 2 slices? The fat content is another factor. Regular. Never any bacon isn't the leanest choice out there. Each strip could have sufficient fat to make a cardiologist's eye begin twitching. While that fat contributes to the flavor we all appreciate, it's not exactly healthy food. Perhaps most worrying is the absence of transparency about where the pork originates from. The wrapping gives no details about the farms, how the pigs were grown, or what they were fed. All you understand is you're obtaining pork raised according to standard industrial methods. If you continue investigating the meat department at Aldi, you'll discover even more products with interesting stories behind their stickers. The Parkview beef hot dogs stand out in the refrigerated department with their bold wrapping and jumbo dimension. These quarter-pound creatures are way larger than the skinny hot dogs most individuals grew up consuming. One pack gives you 8 hefty hot dogs that barely accommodate in standard buns. On the positive side, these hot dogs are made with 100% beef. Unlike many cheaper brands that combine in chicken, pork, or mysterious meat byproducts, Parkview sticks to beef only. This signifies a cleaner flavor and no surprise textures when you bite in. Many Aldi shoppers recognize these as quality beef franks sold at exceptional value, an arrangement that represents solid worth despite inflation. Value-wise, these hot dogs provide. When you break down the expense per dog, you're spending around 90 cents per jumbo hot dog, compared to premium beef hot dogs at standard supermarkets that can cost twice as much. That's a solid arrangement. They also freeze effectively, so purchasing in bulk makes logic if you appreciate an occasional hot dog without making them a regular meal. Now for the not so excellent information, these hot dogs are calorie explosives. Each one contains over 480 calories before you even add a bun or toppings. Consume 2 of these and you've consumed more calories than a full meal, which might clarify why your belt suddenly appears to have reduced in the wash. The sodium measurement should make anyone pause. A single hot dog holds nearly 1,400 milligrams of sodium. That's more than half the suggested daily limit. For individuals monitoring their blood pressure or heart wellness, these numbers should raise serious worries. The ingredient inventory reveals more difficulties. While the 100% beef claim is technically accurate, the hot dogs still hold corn syrup, preservatives, and various flavor enhancers. The sticker might state all beef, but that doesn't signify it's all beneficial for you. Some might dispute that nobody consumes hot dogs for health reasons, which is reasonable, but understanding exactly what you're consuming assists make better selections about how frequently to include these in your diet. Seeking a leaner protein choice at Aldi, the poultry department provides alternatives that might be gentler on your health objectives. Want a healthier meat choice? Simply, Nature Organic ground turkey sits quietly in the refrigerator case, frequently overlooked by shoppers rushing for the flashier beef and chicken choices. This lean protein arrives packaged in those cylindrical rolled tubes that make you wonder if the turkey is planning an escape. Let's discuss about what makes this turkey worth adding to your cart. First off, it carries the USDA organic seal, signifying these turkeys were raised on feed grown without chemical pesticides or fertilizers. The birds are never given antibiotics or hormones, which is becoming more crucial as health specialists warn about antibiotic resistance. These turkeys also consumed a vegetarian diet, no animal byproducts combined into their feed like some conventional functions use. The cost point is truly remarkable for organic meat, usually around $5.49 per pound. It costs about 35% less than organic ground turkey at specialty establishments. This makes consuming healthier, more affordable for everyday meals, not just special occasions. The nutrition profile merits attention, too. Ground turkey holds less saturated fat than beef, with a typical serving providing around 20 grams of protein. This makes it an excellent choice for anyone monitoring their cholesterol or attempting to increase protein consumption without the extra fat. But let's discuss about the not so excellent aspects. First, those plastic tube bundles make it impossible to observe what you're purchasing. It's like purchasing a mystery novel, but instead of wondering who the killer is, you're wondering if the meat will be pink or gray when you finally open it. Some customers report discovering the texture inconsistent, sometimes perfect, sometimes watery or mushy when preparing. Availability can be irritating too. Many Aldi locations don't stock the organic turkey consistently. You might discover it for months, then suddenly it vanishes for weeks without explanation. This makes meal planning difficult if it's a staple in your rotation. The wrapping also provides zero details about where these turkeys were grown. While they're organic, there's no mention of farm names, regions, or raising methods beyond the minimum required for certification. For those wanting even higher quality meat choices, Aldi's premium beef department provides some impressive cuts worthy of a special occasion. When you stroll past the fresh meat counter at Aldi, those thick slabs of never any Angus beef ribeye demand attention. The rich marbling running through each steak appears like delicious rivers of flavor waiting to be prepared. Premium Angus beef represents superior quality grading, representing carefully selected cattle from trusted sources. Finding it in most supermarkets is nearly impossible, yet Aldi sells it regularly. The cost is impressive, typically between $9 and $13 per pound, while steakhouses charge 3 to 4 times more. The marbling makes these steaks incredibly tender and flavorful when prepared properly. Those white streaks of fat melt during preparation, creating the rich, buttery flavor that makes ribeye famous. But these premium steaks arrive with challenges. They're cut from large-scale suppliers, not small farms. The wrapping informs you nothing about where the cattle were grown or what they consumed. These steaks are so substantial that they should arrive with their own zip code. Most are cut at least 1.5 inches thick, making them tricky to prepare properly. You'll also observe they frequently need trimming. Many cuts have sections of fat or gristle that require knife work before preparation. It's like obtaining a luxury car that still requires you to install the cup holders yourself. Despite these drawbacks, the quality to cost ratio is unbeatable for special occasions. Just understand what you're obtaining into before that impressive slab of beef makes its way into your cart. Aldi meats provide solid worth with hidden trade-offs. Understand what you're purchasing, examine stickers, and shop smart.